how much are industry groups and how much are companies there trying to adjust or trying to shift?
Right. Well, coronavirus is reminding us what we already know, that we're very interdependent, especially with China. China is an important partner, both as a retail partner. We sell a lot of product in China, but we also produce a lot of product in China and produce a lot of product around the world where we use inputs from China. So as long as the coronavirus crisis persists, this is going to be a real problem. It's causing a lot of concerns for a lot of our members.
Let's break down the impact. Companies are trying to forecast what it's going to be like, the impact. How much of this is about a supply chain issue, and how much of the concern, if you will, is about the lost demand in places like China? Adidas says their sales are down 85% in the region, given the coronavirus outbreak.
Right. Well, I think the biggest concern is making sure your workers are safe. I mean, and this is one of the reasons why you see factories taking a long time before they start back up again. You know, factories are trying to make sure that their workers follow all the rules, quarantine rules, travel rules, making sure they have enough masks. Okay, if you've got 5,000 people working for you, that's 5,000 masks per day for 30 days. You got to have all of that on hand before you can open back up again. So making sure your workers are safe is probably job number one. And then you have to deal with, you know, the inventories. You've shipped a lot of goods out already before the Lunar New Year. Everyone knows this happens every year. Lunar New Year is a time when you want to stock up before the New Year, get your inventory shipped out. But then when you come out of Lunar New Year, then you're looking at, you know, the next seasons and trying to get them up and running as quickly as you possibly can.
You mentioned our reliance, obviously, on China when it comes to manufacturing, but when I was talking to small business owners, they did explore some other options. Do you think that this outbreak and the impact to businesses could have been even worse if it weren't for the trade war? Have businesses kind of shifted their supply chains around and tried to become more reliant on other countries outside of China?
We've been in a process of diversification from China for a number of years now. The trade war accelerated that. I think coronavirus will accelerate that even more. So that's definitely something that people are looking at.
So I spoke to, at one point, the CEO of one apparel company who has a decent operation, a large-size operation for sourcing in China. And what he said to me was, it's not easy just to switch your supply chains, even for a company of that size, because the relationships are there, the quality control issues are there, the production efficiencies have all been set up over decades. How difficult will this be, given the coronavirus, to get things ramped up to that kind of same level of production and efficiency as was there before?
Well, you're right, and this is the point that we kept making to the administration during the trade war, is that it takes time to move supply chains. You just can't move supply chains overnight. It takes many months, takes many years, and you have these relationships, these partnerships that you have to unwind and reestablish with other countries. You know, this will take a long period of time. I think more and more companies are realizing that the more diversified they are, the better they can survive this, and this is something that we're looking at. I think one of the big questions we have is, how long is this going to take? You know, are we going to see this last a couple more weeks, a couple more months? There's a lot of different scenario planning that goes on. You know, how long will it take before I can replenish my inventories in China even? You know, a lot of the stores there, they've got winter merchandise, but pretty soon it's going to be spring. And how do you get those stores equipped with the spring merchandise?
So I cover all the restaurants for us, and we always talk about, you know, if you don't go out to eat or drink at a Starbucks or a Yum China, that's just a missed opportunity for those companies, and it will be tougher for them to potentially make that up moving forward. Do you look at any brands in your universe and say that they're better insulated than others? Like, for example, if you were going to make a high price luxury purchase, do you still go out and do that once this is all over? Are there some brands that are better positioned than others once this is all over?
It's a great question. I think brands are trying to figure out different scenarios that will position them better. I mean, some of them have a lot of different contingency planning. And you mentioned the trade war. The trade war gave companies a lot of opportunity to develop those war rooms to figure out how can they figure out different scenarios, and they're using those same techniques now to deal with the coronavirus crisis. Again, a lot of it is information we don't know. How long will this last? How long will it be before all these factories, which are opening right now, before they can open at full capacity?
So Steve, before we let you go, that there's a number of folks out there who want to see, from a policy standpoint, what can be done from the U.S. side of things. What exactly would you want to see from our government, our administration, with regard to how industry and business in America can function better, given the issues with China and coronavirus right now?
Well, the first thing we do is we tell the administration reduce the tariffs. I mean, we're hearing that we're in this tariff trade war truce, well, we're still paying 25% tariffs on the backpacks that were in that report. We saw earlier 7.5% on most clothing, about half of our footwear. That's an extra cost that we don't need to be paying right now while we're dealing with the effects of the coronavirus. So job number one, get rid of the tariffs, these extra penalties that are really a tax on American consumers.